welcome back to Startup Street. EV as a service platform Hala Mobility has secured 51 crore rupees in its pre-Series A funding round, which is a combination of debt and equity. The round has seen participation from startup founders, angels, high net worth individuals and family offices. And this new capital will be instrumental in scaling Hala Mobility's EV fleet and expanding its footprint across India. I'm now joined by its co-founder, Shrikant Reddy. Shrikant, I believe we've got you back. You provide EV as a service platform designed for e-commerce companies and gig workers. On offer is, of course, a software for EV battery, driver management, along with a fleet of electric two-wheelers. Take us through Hala Mobility's current scale of operations quickly and the kind of impact you've made so far.
So, Shruti, with more than 3,000 EV vehicles, we are running across 6 cities today. Our major epicenter being Hyderabad location. Along with that, we have also kind of started our operations in tier 2, tier 3 cities like Vijayawada, Guntur, Visakhapatnam, alongside Bangalore and Chennai as well. With 3,000 odd vehicles, we have run more than 132 million green kilometers, saving tons of CO2 emissions and thousands of liters of petrol consumption. With the fresh funds, we are aiming to expand our footprint across these geographies of 6 cities, plus starting the pilots in Mumbai, Pune, Kochi and Coimbatore as well. As an EV as a service, all these e-commerce companies are moving towards the electric vehicle ecosystem because we are saving them, almost 25% of cost per delivery that they're doing. At the same time, the delivery partner who is using this particular vehicle is able to save at least 50% of his expenses when compared to the petrol vehicles. So that's the value we are able to bring into the business as well as the drivers who are using our kind of platforms today.
All right, with the fresh funds raised, Shrikant, you plan to deploy 10,000 new electric vehicles by December next year. Tell us if you're on track and also take us through the geographical expansion plans. You touched upon it a bit earlier.
So with this fresh funds, we are aiming to deploy at least 10,000 fleet by at least December next year, which is 14 months from now. The expansion is going to be seen in the 6 cities which we have today. As I told, we have at least 90% business coming from Hyderabad region. We wanted to diversify that a little bit. We have run our pilots for at least 2 years now in Bangalore, Chennai, Vijayawada, Visakhapatnam, Guntur. So we wanted to penetrate more into these demographics. At the same time, start a little more pilots in Mumbai, Pune, Kochi and Coimbatore regions.
All right. Shrikant, you have a dense service network set up named S3 stations that serve as the epicenter of demand and supply. Tell us how you've been able to help clients efficiently manage ground operations, leading to your claim of an increase in revenue by 25% and reduced churn by 42%, even increase earning potential by 48%. How are you doing that?
So we play around a lot of data points, right? All these vehicles carry a lot of information that we process day-on-day basis. Every trip is calculated, every distance is being calculated. And given the moment that we run into one of the cities, we divide the cities into clusters. We get the hotspots on where the demand centers are and where the utilization pieces happen. So we understand the pattern of how the dark stores, how the warehouses are placed, and that's how we work on a hub and spoke model. So for every city, we have one central mother hub and then distributed across our pit stops called as S3 network, which is service cum swapping station. This service cum swapping station is a epicenter which is placed at least 3 to 5 kilometer distance that will serve any vehicle to be attached to, it can be a quick commerce, it can be an e-commerce, it can be a hyper-local center. So with the data that we receive from the vehicles, the data that we receive from the on-ground operations, and the demand that we get from the businesses side, we kind of interpolate them, and the software is able to take its decision in distribution of these vehicles, distribution of batteries, and the charge point operators.
All right. Shrikant, you're currently working with Big Basket, Zomato and Zepto and have partnered with 13 scooters and 8 battery manufacturers, I believe. Any new partners that you're looking to onboard?
So all this while we wanted to get into more manufacturers here is because every business model needs a different kind of a vehicle. So there is no purpose-built vehicle at this point of a time, at least in the two-wheeler segment. So we had to test, trial, validate different products, and that's why we had multiple scooter manufacturers. But now we are kind of zeroing down to at least 3 or 4 manufacturers out of the 13, and only those vehicles will be spread across so that my supply chain problems will be reduced down, and I'll be able to give better uptime guarantees for my customers from 95%.
Okay. Shrikant, take us through some of the future applications across the EV ecosystem towards a greener, tech-driven future. What's in store?
Sure. So as I said, we work in a hub and spoke model. Although we are consuming electricity today, which is not a pure play coming from the solar side, it's not a renewable energy, it is coming from the thermal side of it. We want to ensure that all these dark stores to be converted into solar energy. And the infrastructure that we're setting up, these are going to be used by multiple charge point operators, multiple swapping stations, and multiple service areas as well, right? So that's why the name service comes swapping station. And at this location, if the battery as service also will be enabled, that's how we are looking at. Today, we are providing only EV as a service. Tomorrow, we should be in a position where someone owns a vehicle and, battery as a service moves through our channel. So that's how we kind of wanted to go into EV as a service or battery as a service. Plus, now we are starting a new feature rollout that is called as Hala Plus, where consumers or retail investors can own certain set of vehicles, they can run their operations.
Okay.
We give them the know-how. That's why we are kind of moving into a platform as a service as well.
All right, Shrikant, on that note, I'll have to wrap up our conversation. The future of mobility has to be clean and efficient, and we wish you the very best in driving that. Thank you so much for joining us today on Startup Street.